Hello to all my fans online. Quick disclaimer before we get into this video. I did not have any visuals to go with this video, and I really didn't want to make an hour's worth of a PowerPoint about it because that wouldn't even look that good anyway. So I'm playing, as you can see, some Miraculous Ladybug browser games, including this one here, Kwame Crush. I hope you love it. Disclaimer too, some of these Miraculous Ladybug browser games are crazy and a little bit inappropriate, but I did not play any of the ones that I thought were inappropriate, or at least I tried my best to. I played a kissing game once, but I quickly discarded it. Third disclaimer, and this one is really embarrassing, but you may see Charlie from Hazbin Hotel as my computer background, but it's not my computer. It's my roommate's computer. My roommate chooses to keep that there ironically, and I don't have the power to change it because I'm not my roommate. So I'm sorry to everybody who hates Hazbin Hotel and is scared when they see that. I understand your plight, but it's not my fault. And here's that. This is your warning. So good luck to everybody. Hello to all my fans. My first name is Secret Kismet, and I am so hyped for Miraculous Ladybug Season 6. It's all I think about. It's all I dream about. It's all I talk about. It's all I draw about. Miraculous Ladybug Season 6 and beyond is going to change my life, and I am so excited. But, of course, it can always be bad, and I really hope it isn't, and I really think it won't be. But I want us to have a discussion about some of the things that I am really anticipating for the second arc of Miraculous Ladybug, however many seasons it will be. So, to start off, I'm going to talk about something that I think will be the case, but I see a lot of people talk about the contrary. I really hope that Lila is the main villain of the second arc. A lot of people anticipate that either Tomoe will step up as the main villain, or Gabriel will come back from the dead and kill Lila, which, maybe, but I think that Lila can really hold her own as the main villain in Season 6 and beyond. She basically already is the Butterfly Miraculous holder by the end of Season 5, the way that she was purposefully inciting akumatizations and working around Monarch in order to get what she wants from people's akumatizations. She is a very powerful 14-year-old girl, and her being a part of the class now, her going to school as Chrysalis, as the Butterfly Miraculous holder, and being able to incite akumatizations directly is a really cool change from Gabriel, who mostly just sat in his house and would occasionally say something mean to somebody on TV to get them akumatized. I'm personally very excited to see her as the main villain. I think she's going to be a lot more competent than Gabriel. The way that Gabriel was looking to Natalie for most of his big plans, I think that Lila doesn't need a Natalie in her life. She can think of those plans on her own. And I think if Tomoe stepped in and became the new Butterfly Miraculous holder or something, it would just be too repetitive. It would be too much like Gabriel being the Butterfly Miraculous holder. Because Tomoe is not going to go outside and, manipulate and attack people to get them to be akumatized and stuff. She's just going to sit in her house and wait for emotions like Gabriel. And then it will just be another parent of a main character who is secretly the main villain. It's just going to be too similar. I much prefer Lila as the main villain for the foreseeable future. And I do think that's the direction the show's going to go in, so that's good. But this actually leads pretty well into my next point, which is I hope to see a lot more school drama in Season 6 and beyond. One of my favorite things about Miraculous Ladybug is that no matter how intense the plot gets, they never stop having episodes or even story moments that take place in the classroom setting Miss Boustier's class is such an iconic place. And I feel like they've really set up season 6 to have a lot of really good things going on with school drama. First of all, Lila's new identity, Iris, Blilo, or whatever, is going to be attending the new school with them, which is great. But the school is also this radical place with no classes, no grades, where people can just do what they want. And I think that's so awesome. I think that is honestly would be really great if the show focused around students in courtyards and different learning centers doing different things and having drama and being friends and just having stuff going on. I think it would be so great. I think it would be a great setting to see Lila work her tragic magic in. And I also think it would be a great thing to show children. I think for children, especially in the modern day, to be able to watch Miraculous Ladybug and see this idealistic world, and school is not the real life system of grades and periods and classrooms, but instead was based on each student and their needs. I think that would be really radical and important for children to see. I think it's important for children to see not only that systems are flawed, but also that there are solutions. The only reason why systems are flawed are because humans have built them that way, and humans can break them down too. So the fact that Miraculous Ladybug, up until season 6, is in this non-idealistic school, and then they break that barrier and the rest of the show takes place in this awesome new school, I think that's so great. So I can't imagine that the school just won't matter. But I guess I'm just really excited to see drama and stuff happening in this new school. However, on the topic of the new Eco Paris, I have a hope, and it is a big hope. I hope to the stars that there are no cops in this Paris, because good God, I can't handle it. I don't expect the show to get into the idea of the prison system and criminal reformation and all that stuff. I really don't need the show to even attempt to go there. I just don't want to see Roger in every other episode. I'm not interested in him. The show is political all the time, and it constantly shows cops being bad people, but it is somehow incapable to follow through with saying that cops as a whole are shouldn't exist and are bad. And I think part of that might be that there's one cop character, Roger. They just make him be a dumb person. He's just not very smart. So every time that he does something bad and abuses his power, you can see it as a statement that cops are bad, or you can see it as a statement that Roger specifically is a dumb and bad cop. And I hate that. In Qilin, they literally had to make this new character that's an evil ticketer who's yes, I want to see this woman go to jail. Yes, yes. Which is don't you have a job to do? Don't you have to check more tickets on more buses? How many people are getting on buses illegally now that you're worrying about this one woman? It's so ridiculous. I don't want to make this video into a Qilin review video, but the point is that the show, whether it's from the executives or the networks or the evil Zionist men making the show, someone or something in control is not capable of letting cops be a negative force in Miraculous Ladybug, and that needs to change. If they create this idealistic perfect version of Paris now, or at least much better version of Paris, and cops are just the same in it, it will lose so much impact, in my opinion. I don't want to see Mayor Bustier call Roger on the phone and say, we need you right now. They should just make Roger and all the other cops just stop showing up. And they should make Sabrina stop mentioning every 5 seconds that her dad is a cop. Oh my God, they need to make Sabrina stop. Which leads me to my next point, which is that Sabrina needs to be a different effing character. Good God. Every single time I talk about Sabrina, I feel like it goes on for 7 minutes and it's so negative. So I'll try to be nice, but the dark truth, which is so sad because Sabrina's like a 14-year-old girl in a TV show for children. But the dark truth is that I can't stand Sabrina. She's so poorly written. She just doesn't have anything going on other than the fact that Chloe is mean to her and her dad is a cop. And I need her to have anything else going on. Literally anything else. She should be really into field hockey. And every time she's on screen, she's like, oh my God, I'm so excited because it's field hockey season. And if somebody's like, Sabrina, you should hang out, she's like, no, I have to do field hockey practice. And that would be awesome. And then she could be akumatized into field hockette or Miss Hound hockey. Like, oh my God, that's so many good ideas right there. Sabrina should just love field hockey and then just never have any of her previous personality traits ever again. And that's one of my hopes for season 6 of Miraculous Ladybug. Kind of related to that, I hope that Chloe just stops showing up. I know that Chloe is going to be in season 6 at least to some degree, but I hope it's just like a cameo or an episode where she shows up again, because I feel like she has no purpose in the show anymore. And honestly, I feel like she had no purpose in the show at all. Chloe in season 1, when she wasn't being redeemed yet, was kind of just a little bit too much as a bully. She was very clearly a misogynistically written character. It wasn't enjoyable. I don't think that children would really enjoy it. And I also don't think that parents would really enjoy it. I don't feel like Chloe's bullying was framed enough as this like objectively bad thing that children wouldn't want to copy or embody, especially as they moved forward with giving her a redemption arc. But she still retained a lot of traits of being mean to others in other episodes. Throughout seasons 2 and 3, in one episode, it would focus on her being nice and learning to be a better person. But then in another episode, she would just be mean again. And it's especially bad because Chloe was like explicitly racist towards Marinette and Kagami and others. And I feel like that sets a pretty bad precedent for children. Chloe's lonely, she doesn't have any friends, and her parents don't really pay attention to her or like her. I feel like it's pretty easy for a child to gravitate towards her character, identify with her situation, and then act mean, just like in the show, because that's what happens. She's mean, and then people are able to see that she's lonely, and then people reach out to her, and then she's happy. But that's not how it works in real life. And I just feel like Chloe's character doesn't set a good example with a good through line of her being a bad person being the reason why people didn't like her. I feel like it's something that you're supposed to be able to assume, and I think everybody can get it, but I think young children might not completely register it. And then when Chloe's redemption arc is completely over, I don't even have to talk about it, because it's the opinion that every single Miraculous Ladybug fan has. She just becomes a different person. It's very unlikable. Her redemption arc made her really cool to see. She was a good part of the hero team, and then suddenly she's just really mean and evil and annoying and misogynistically written, but still appears in so many episodes, and it's annoying and grating and horrible to watch. Blah, 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 blah. Like, everybody gets it. But where I think that Chloe has the best part in the show is probably in the second half of season 5, when they finally actually made her character have a concrete purpose. I feel like making her embody this idea of like a conservative, privileged child in a classroom, making life difficult for other students. I think that was a really good direction to take her character. Miss Boustier's class is like this mini community that she's handling in the same way that she will have to soon handle the large community of all of Paris. Her having to deal with Chloe as somebody who is making the lives of every other student more difficult, and then choosing to remove Chloe from that situation is a very good like micro version of how she'll have to be as the mayor of Paris. And I think it's a very interesting topic. Chloe is classist. Chloe is racist. Chloe is unpleasant. She makes the learning of other children very difficult. And that doesn't make her an evil person, but they are not actions that make this a comfortable and conducive environment for anyone else there. And Miss Bustier having to deal with that is very interesting, and I think it is mostly handled pretty well. And I like that since Miss Bustier also completely removes the current school system when she becomes mayor, the show also makes a statement about the fact that it's not just Chloe that's the problem in the classroom, but also the structure of the classroom. The class and schooling system puts privileged students in situations where they can be bullies, where they can be bigoted, and where they can be a disruption to the lives of other children. And I think that the way that the show handles that topic is really interesting. I've never seen any show talk about that ever. And now that the school is like more idealistic and Paris is more idealistic, I don't feel like Chloe deserves a spot in the show anymore. She just doesn't need to be here. Classism is no longer a theme of the show, at least I assume. I hope that classism is no longer a theme of the show. Chloe is also a misogynistic caricature, and the misogyny she's written with only gets worse as the show goes on. I just can't handle her being in the show anymore. I really hope that Chloe is just gone forever. Even though the last that we really would have seen of her would have been her crying in a plane. But whatever. Like, whatever. It has to end. Chloe needs to be gone. Cops need to be gone. And Sabrina needs to love field hockey. Those are my wishes. To talk about something a little bit more lighthearted, I'm very excited to see Amelie interact with other characters. I love Amelie. Amelie is one of my favorite characters in the whole show, by far. Amelie is so cool and so exciting, and it's so awesome that she's going from being in 4 scenes to being a relevant main character. I'm so excited to see her talk more to Adrian, to Natalie, to Kagami, to Marinette. I want to see so much more from her. I want to see her feelings develop. I want her to have quiet moments with Natalie. I want her to be comforting to Adrian. I want her to relate the death of her abusive husband to the death of Natalie's abusive boyfriend. I really want to see it. I want her to be like a teacher at the new school. I want her to love to garden. I want her to cook. I want her to host family game nights. I want her to do karaoke. I want her to sing in the street. I want her to be happy. I want her to have awesome moments with Felix. I want her to be best friends with Dusu. I want so much more for Amelie. And I'm so excited to see where they take her. Like, she'll probably get akumatized. That's so, like, oh my god, what will her akumatized form look like? There's so much potential with her. I need to know what happens next. And that isn't even bringing up the possibility of Amelie and Natalie as a even implied romantic pair. Because it could so happen. It's so possible. They're literally living together now. They are raising 2 sons together. I want Adrian to go to school and be like, yeah, my moms are throwing a pool party. Everybody can come. I want to hear that coming out of his mouth. There is so much that can be done with Amelie. But if she gets a boyfriend, it'll be just like, oh my god. If Amelie gets a boyfriend, it'll be just like season 6 of BoJack Horseman. By the way, spoiler alert for BoJack Horseman. where Diane gets a new boyfriend for no reason, just because the only way that a female character who's been in an abusive relationship can be happy is if she gets a nice boyfriend that treats her well, when in reality she could just be a woman who lives somewhere and is happy and has her own stuff going on, especially since Amelie literally has a son and a family. She doesn't need a boyfriend. I don't want Amelie to have a boyfriend, but it hasn't happened, so I'm not going to get angry about it quite yet. Wait, newsflash. Right as I was editing this part of the video, it was revealed that Joe Biden is not running for president of the United States anymore. I don't think that's a coincidence. I'm just saying, I was editing a part of my video about Amelie. You know where Amelie's ex-husband Colt comes from? The United States of America. I wonder if she has citizenship. But anyway, I'll back to the video. And also, I'm so excited to see Natalie as a mother to Adrian. I really hope we get to learn more about her. I feel like I have a good grasp on her as a character, but I feel like Adrian doesn't. I want Natalie to talk more to Adrian about her life. I want to know more about Natalie's family. I want to know where she comes from, why she doesn't have any of her family in her immediate life anymore, if she ever did. I want to understand more about Natalie Sancoeur's past, other than just her relationship with Gabriel in the past. And what's the perfect opportunity to have Amelie and Natalie and Felix and Adrian doing stuff together, but with another Christmas special. Yes, I really hope that there's another Christmas special. I think it would be so good and so exciting and so awesome. Christmas is coming up in the timeline of the show, and the first Christmas special focused a lot around Adrian's relationship with his dad and Natalie, but he has a new family now, and I want to see them all decorating the tree together. I want to see them all eating their midnight Christmas meal together. I want to see all of them. Oh my god. I want to see Lila, and it's like everybody's their families, but Lila doesn't have a family. I mean, she has families, but she doesn't have an actual family. I want to see her alone in her little catacomb crypt, and I want her to be eating a little cookie, just trying to akumatize someone, because that's all that she can do, because she's lonely. I want to see that. I want Marinette and Kagami to come over and everybody celebrates Christmas together. It would be so good. I want Amelie to sing. Oh my god, yes. I want the episode to start with everybody in the Sancoeur household singing a song, and it starts with Adrian singing about how happy he is with his new family. Then Natalie joins in and Felix joins in. And then Amelie bursts through a door and she's belting. She has vibrato and falsetto. She's crescendoing and then she decrescendos. I want to hear it all. I think that she would be an amazing singer. But anyway, I could talk for my entire life about how excited I am to see Amelie and Natalie and Felix and Adrian together, but I'll keep it in for now. Let's talk more about the theming of the future of the show. I feel like the first arc of Miraculous Ladybug, seasons 1 through 5, have such solid themes. Well, actually, that's kind of not true, because I feel like most of seasons 1 through 5 is just alluding to themes, but I feel like season 5 really delivers on everything. I feel like season 5, for the first and only time in the show, really figures out what it wants to say about classism, the way it interacts with Gabriel's morals, the way that he treats women, the way that he targets mostly children with his akumatizations. It's also good, and my favorite part of it is, of course, Adrian being this prince slash princess that Marinette specifically has to defend and protect. There's like a whole conversation I can get into with that, but I won't. I just think it's an extremely well executed idea. And it is great confirmation that Marinette is mask. Yup, Marinette is masculine. And I'm just going to share one little thought. I think that Marinette's a gay man. Okay, now we're going to move on. Okay, whatever. So what? That's just my opinion. I think Marinette's a gay man. Anyway, I really like the theming that the show builds to for the first arc. And I'm wondering what the theming will be for the second arc. And I'm excited to see it. I'm excited for them to build new themes for Marinette and Adrian's characters to work around. I'm excited for new metaphors and imagery and ideas. And I really hope that they don't just revert to classism. I really hope that's not just like a central point of the show anymore. I hope that Adrian doesn't need to be saved from anything else. I hope that the show is ready to embark on a new journey. And I think it is, because I think that the next arc of the show is going to focus a lot on lies and deception and emotional facades. And this is perfect for me because actually in 7th grade, there was a poetry project that I had to do. Everyone in my class had to do it. And we had to pick a theme, then write poems about it. And my theme was emotional facades. So if I watched Miraculous Ladybug back then, trust me, I would have a poem about Lila. I would have a poem about Marinette. I would have a poem about Ladybug and Chat Noir. Like, that would have been a Miraculous Ladybug poetry project back then. But anyway, I feel like there's lots of different directions they can take a theme of facade. And I just want to outline some of the groundwork that they have and talk about how I want it to move forward. So, obviously, Lila's a liar. Lila, or Cerise, or Iris, or Chrysalis, or Manon, she is a liar deep in her heart. But you know who else is a liar? Marinette. Yeah. Marinette's lying to Adrian about literally everything right now, especially stuff about his dad being evil and monarch. That's such a big deal, and it's such a big deal that she would lie to him about that. And it's so interesting to me that they would make Marinette reveal all of Lila's lies, oust her from school, and then immediately have this new plot line about this huge lie that she's doing towards her boyfriend. It's very interesting to me, and I really hope that that's an intentional parallel with Lila in season 6 and beyond. I feel like if we see Lila being this huge liar towards everybody in school, and like we know that she's actually a supervillain and she's just befriending people on this false basis, and then we also see Marinette just going along with everything that Adrian says and everything that everybody says about Gabriel being this actually really good guy and not evil. That would be such an interesting parallel. I feel like there's so many comparisons that could be made thematically between those two situations. I like that both the main protagonist and the main antagonist both have their biggest plot lines right now defined around the fact that they are liars. It's so... I really wonder what kind of story they're trying to tell with that. But here's the thing that I honestly think is pretty shocking that they would set up, because I don't know where they're planning to take this idea. It's not just Marinette that knows who Gabriel was. Just off the top of my scalp, the characters that matter who know are Kagami, Felix, Plague, Natalie, Amelie, Marinette. And those are all the closest people in Adrian's life. Except for, I guess, Nino. But let's be honest, Nino and Adrian are not that close. But I really wonder why all of these characters would choose to keep it from Adrian. I especially feel like both Kagami and Felix would have a strong sense of justice about this specific fact, and I don't understand why for months they would choose to let Adrian just believe this like falsity about his entire life. He like objectively deserves to know that his father was evil, even though it would be extremely difficult for him. And I hope that the show genuinely does address why all of these characters choose to keep the secret from him, even if it's a little bit of like a contrived explanation. Like Kagami is like, I trust Marinette, and if Marinette chose not to tell him, that's okay with me. It's like, I think that's a little bit contrived, but I can accept it if the story they're trying to tell with this plotline is good enough. And I feel like it will be good because it is a very bold thing to set up. It was very bold for them to make the decision that Adrian never learns who his dad was while his dad is alive and active as monarch, and instead start this new plotline about everybody in his life lying to him about it. Like, that's crazy. That is literally crazy. So I just hope that they don't just forget to address the fact that Natalie is lying to him. I hope that it matters and they have a plan for it and it's going to be a big deal. And I hope that when Adrian does find out like the truth eventually, which I do not think will happen in season 6, but when he does eventually find out the truth, I hope that he finds out that it's not just like Ladybug and stuff lying to him. I hope that he also finds out that it was like Natalie and Kagami and Felix. And then he's mad at them too because they set up this situation where they're all lying to him. So I hope that he's mad at all of them. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it would be pretty interesting if he learned the truth and he thought that Ladybug lied, but since he doesn't know that Ladybug is Marinette, he thinks that Marinette is the only person in his life who didn't lie to him about the situation. That would be so awkward for Marinette. I would enjoy that. That would be cool. So I think there is a lot that can come from it. They just need to execute it well. Another thing that I think is kind of necessary, well, maybe not necessary, but I think is a good idea for this plotline to really succeed, is that I think that Marinette should kind of face an equivalent betrayal from someone. I don't know who. I guess probably Cat Noir. I think that there should be another character who has their reasons and they're not like evil about it, but they hold a big piece of information away from Marinette for a meaningful amount of time. And then when Marinette learns, she feels very betrayed and upset. And then she's like, oh, wait, I'm also doing that to my boyfriend all the time. I think that if Marinette had to reflect on her own actions by having a lie be told to her, I think that, one, it would make her more likable to the audience, because I can definitely see a lot of people getting really angry at her for just not having the guts to tell Adrian the truth. Like that, I can see a certain type of person being very rightfully disliking of her character for that. So I feel like this would help make her be a little bit more likable if she had to face consequences narratively by going through what she's putting Adrian through. But I also feel like it would feed into the potential theme of facades and lies. It would give me more to write about for my next poetry project. I also like when things happen at Marinette in the plot. Marinette's obviously like the main character, so a lot of things happen through her action, but I like when other characters' actions make something happen to Marinette. It feels more realistic and interesting in my opinion. Which, another great segue, I think that this can also lead into a plotline, another plotline that I want to happen, which is that I want Ladybug to sort of distrust Cat Noir now. I'm going to go through a timeline really quickly. In season 4, Ladybug has become the guardian, and she has a lot of responsibility now, and she starts to rely on Cat Noir less because of a couple reasons. One, she assumes that Cat Noir having to fight and do deakumatization stuff is not something that he enjoys, because it's not necessarily something that she's always enjoyed in the past. And also, he got akumatized in her recent memory. And even though he doesn't remember that, she still knows that if something happened to specifically Cat Noir when he was transformed as Cat Noir and he got akumatized, it would be really bad. And she never talks about it, but that definitely left in a little seed of doubt about Cat Noir as this partner. And then in season 4, things get patched up with both of them. Cat Noir becomes less creepy towards her romantically and has some other development about their relationship. Ladybug learns that Cat Noir actually really likes to be Cat Noir because he really likes her genuinely and really wants to be with her genuinely. And then both of them patch things up and they love to be partners forever after Cat Noir shows that Ladybug can rely on him and he can be a good partner who will always be there for her after she loses all the Miraculous. And he's like, I still believe in you. You're still the leader. And the two of us, you and me, will get them back. You and me, you and me, you and me. They repeat it 3 times. And then he's just not there for the final fight. And it wasn't his fault. But she doesn't know it wasn't his fault. She thinks that he, like, fell under the spell of the nightmare dust. But, like, even if he did, that still kind of would be, like, a failure. Because she also is experiencing nightmares and stuff. But she's able to fight through it. She desperately needed him in that final fight, and he wasn't there. And I don't even think that she would, like, think that that's a failing on his part. It's more so just a fact of, like, she can't control him. She can't control if he would be there. She can't contact him if he's not going to pick up. So I think that it's realistic if part of her just learns that Cat Noir is not somebody that she should be relying on, even if she wants to. And even if by the end of season 4, she kind of learned that she should. She's now kind of, I think it makes sense for her to sort of go back on that development a little bit and not really completely trust him anymore. And I think that then if Cat Noir did actually hold a genuine secret from her, I don't know what it would be, but this is going back to my last point. If he held a secret and then Marinette had to learn the truth and then she was upset, I think that could also play into this idea of her kind of subconsciously not trusting Cat Noir as much. And I think that it could lead to a good conversation between the two of them where she's like, I don't know if I can trust you. I don't know if you'll always be there and stuff like that. I think it's a good idea. I guess that's kind of veering a little bit more into fanfiction territory, but it's just an idea that I have. So let's just move on and get more back into things that have to do with reality. To switch the topic over to just some more like little things that I want to see happen. I really want to see Kagami's bedroom and her house. If Tomoe is going to start mattering now, I feel like we just need to see it. We cannot only see Kagami in that weird field anymore. We can't. I'm sick of that field. Unless we see Tomoe. I think that's somebody that works at Miraculous. Ladybug is in my home because there was just a sharp knock on the door when I'm home alone and no one was there. I'm scared. But anyway, unless we see Tomoe and Kagami turn into worms and burrow underground in that field and it's revealed that that's their home, I'm done with that. I also really hope to see some fun characters who have not previously gone to school with the main cast start going to school with the main cast now. I want to see So Clean, Luka, Kagami, and Felix going to school with everybody else and having like art class with them or something. And I know that Felix has already graduated like high school or whatever, but I don't care. This isn't high school. This is Miss Boustier's awesome radical school. So it's not high school, and he should go. And everybody should be best friends in school. Speaking of this group of students, though, I want to talk about Luka. I have honestly, personally, never been a Luka fan. I wouldn't say that I'm a Luka hater, or I ever have been, but I've never been a fan. He's just never stood out to me. But the most recent time that I watched the show, I really tried to pay attention to him. I tried to get into the mind of the people who really like Luka. And to my complete shock, it kind of worked. I'm kind of a Luka fan now. I kind of want to see him do more. And interestingly enough, I actually, a few days ago, had a very in-depth emotional dream about Luka and Marinette's relationship. I was a witnesser in this dream. I was watching both of them, and I was feeling both of their emotions as they went through their breakup. And they were also at a smoothie bar, so, like, I love smoothies. But anyway, in the dream, I could really feel Marinette starting to accept that the breakup was happening. In her brain, it was so okay for Luka to not be in her life anymore. It was whatever. They're friends. Their relationship was never that romantic. It was kind of just this very affectionate, platonic relationship to begin with. But then it started to sink in that if they aren't dating, there's that absence of Luka and a lot of parts of her life that she's gotten comfortable with. If they're not dating, it'll be less easy to hang out with Luka. It'll be less easy to hear his voice and feel comforted by him. That specific feeling of belonging that she has with Luka was fleeting. She understood in that moment as they were breaking up that she wasn't going to feel that anymore. Not in the same way, at least, if ever again. I didn't understand that until I had that dream, and now I get it. Now I feel something for Luka. Now I feel this sadness that he and Marina had to break up. It's so sad for them. But I think that just like Kagami now has a BF, I think that Luka also needs to date somebody. I think it's an inevitability that it will happen in the show, partially because he just doesn't really have anything else going on. He has this kind of unresolved romantic plot line. So I assume that they will eventually give him somebody to date, but I would only care if Luka got a boyfriend. I just feel like if Luka got a girlfriend, it would be playing too much into these heteronormative tropes. I just want to see Luka be like Mark and Nathaniel, where he's just in the background with the boy all the time. And like Julika and Rose, but Julika and Rose matter way more than Luka ever has in that show. And I wanted to stay that way. They don't have to be explicitly dating, but if Luka just got a new friend and they were very close and it was implied to be romantic, that would be enough for me. So that's my Luka hope. And I also really want to see new power-ups. Like, I love Aqua Tiki. I love Stalactiki. First of all, I really want to see Cosmo Tiki. I'm shaking in my boot because I want to see Cosmo Tiki so bad. But I also want to see a fire form. I want to see a lava form. I want to see a rocky form. I want them to do a power-up that's like a love spell form. There's so many options. And speaking of new power-ups, I want new Miraculous. That's the truth. I want to see more development for like Mark, Nathaniel, Sabrina, and Ivan, because they've had Miraculous in like one episode and they didn't even really do anything. I want to see more of like all of the holders that currently exist, but I also just want new Miraculous. It was like exciting when there was like Miraculous that didn't have holders yet. And if the show just keeps going on for potentially 7 more seasons, like I feel like we need to get more Miraculous in circulation here. That does, of course, mean that there will be a lot of heroes, but I personally don't mind. I wouldn't mind if there was like 30 of them, which is like so many, but there's already 17, and that's such a high number. I also want to see some more fish-based Miraculous. Actually, I say some more. I just want to see any fish-based Miraculous. Where's the barrel eye Miraculous? I feel like there has to be new Miraculous because So Clean needs a Miraculous. So Clean is so cool. She doesn't do like anything in season 5 really. She has one episode about her, but she appears as like a very minor character in so many episodes in season 5. They basically make a whole new like location in Paris that only she has appeared in so far. I feel like she has to matter. She has to do stuff. She's so interesting and cool, and I love her. She needs a Miraculous. Her thing is literally that she wants to be a hero. She needs a Miraculous. I also would like for Natalie to get a Miraculous permanently. I do understand it would be really weird if there was this tall adult woman fighting with these children. So, like, I don't know. I don't expect it to happen, but I would like it to. I would also really like it if in season 6 and beyond, Alya had something to do. Alya is such a good character with so much potential, and the writers are definitely aware of that because basically every single episode that revolves around her is amazing. But outside of season 4, there's just not that Alya depth that I want. There's just not the Alya depth that I want to see within the show. And even within season 4, all of the episodes and plotlines that they give her have to do with her being basically the co-guardian, which, of course, I love. I love that she's a co-guardian, but I needed her to have more going on her own. And with that, I need Nino to have more going on. I don't think Nino has had literally anything going on in the whole show that has interested me. The Resistance in season 5 was like a fun concept, and I think that it definitely serves a narrative purpose. Having these children that Monarch has targeted, like, go against him is good. And I like that Nino's the leader of it. I like the effort, but I don't know. They just need to figure out who Nino is more. I want to see him do more with his music or something. I want him to have more just like casual fun interactions with characters. I would like for him to have an actual relationship with Adrian that was mutual and interesting. Just both Alya and Nino just need to have anything going on for themselves. That's my wish. Maybe one day it will happen. We're down to just a few more things left on my list. Next one is kind of another sort of fanfiction-y thing, but I'll try to keep it brief. I really like that statue of Gabriel that's here now. It was a cool decision to make it be a thing. It will definitely be a very central location. It'll be a thing that a lot of people go to and look at it and think about him. I'm sure there will be a scene where Adrian either cataclysms it or almost cataclysms it, and it'll be very dramatic. But I also want Lila to use Reunion on it. I don't know how she would get a Kwagatama from Nuru, but, you know, whatever. I think she could somehow. And I want there to be a little inscription for, like, the Miraculous on that statue. And then I want Lila to contact Gabriel and speak to him again. There's a lot of extremely interesting things that can come from this. I like thinking about Lila being in a position where she. But do I really? I would like for there to be a position in which Lila realizes that he does not have any allies or real help on his side, but he can contact Gabriel through the statue. So he sneaks out at night and he uses a Kwagatama and he's like, Gabriel, I'm backed into a corner. I would like to see that discussion. Gabriel's a very selfish character. He always only does things for himself. But this isn't Gabriel. This is like a psychic memory of him that exists literally just to be in service to a new butterfly Miraculous holder. I just think it would be interesting to see Gabriel, especially since he would be in like his monarch uniform, which is so petrifying. I want to see Gabriel have to have this like calm conversation with Lila. Or maybe he would just get angry because this psychic version of Gabriel would still remember Lila. Maybe he would just get angry that she's the new holder. And maybe he would be angry learning that he died. I don't know. It would be interesting. And I think it would be cool. And if Adrian or Natalie somehow also got a Kwakatama from Nuru at some point, I would also like to see them interact with Gabriel. This next one, I don't know how to fit it in, but it is so important to me. Max needs a new outfit. I can't stand Max's outfit. I'm really sorry to Max if you're real, but something about the green of his shirt, literally, like, I can't look at. I can only look at him from like the neck up. And I really don't want it to be that way because I genuinely really like Max. I think that he's one of the characters who is most, like one of the side characters who's most equipped to be an actual superhero. I really want to see more of Pegasus. I really want to see more of him. He's so interesting. And I love his mom. But he has a horrible outfit, in my opinion. And I need him to have a new one. So, hopefully. The penultimate thing I'm going to talk about is that I really want Tomoe to be written well. I personally really, really like Tomoe. I think that she's a very interesting character with a lot of depth. But there's just so many reasons why I think that she might be like an uncomfortable character, especially villain to watch. Miraculous Ladybug has a shocking amount of adult female characters that are written well, but they're all white, I think, other than Tomoe. And it's not that Tomoe has been like written extremely racistly so far, exactly. Like, her character fits into some tropes that I definitely don't think are a great basis for her character exactly, but she hasn't really done enough, at least in my eyes. At least from what I have been able to personally observe, she has not done enough for her to be like a true caricature. But I think that it is so possible, and I'm so scared. Her being a disabled Japanese woman who's like kind of older and also the mother of a main character, and she's like this, like, she is objectively an evil person. I'm just scared that she's not going to have the depth that her character deserves. Like, I want her to be like Gabriel, where I do think that she's evil because she is, but she's also just like a person. I want to see it. I want to really like Tomoe as a villain. I want to be intrigued by her. And I feel like the fact that Gabriel is gone, but Tomoe is still here, shows that they do have a plan for what to do with her. Like, if Gabriel was still alive, and then we learned about Tomoe's history with him, that would be in service to his character, because his character is the focus. But Gabriel isn't alive anymore. He isn't a part of the show anymore. When we learn about Gabriel and Tomoe's backstory, it's going to be to contextualize Tomoe's character because she's the one that currently matters. And because of that, I feel like they definitely have a plan with her, and I feel like she might get a lot of depth. And I hope that's true. But I have another horrible worry. She says, like, in an episode that Gabriel took away her dream. And I am so scared that her being completely blind has something to do with like her past. Because like there's like very few explicitly disabled characters in Miraculous Ladybug. Her becoming blind or whatever can be a part of her backstory, obviously, but I don't want Tomoe's thing to be that she wanted Gabriel to reset the world so that she wouldn't be blind anymore, or that like her being blind is like the worst thing that ever happened to her. I don't want it to be this like inciting incident in her life where Gabriel led to her being blind and now she like hates him. It's just, it would be so uncomfortable with there like not being any other characters in Miraculous Ladybug that I can think of, at least. Certainly not any main characters that are blind or have like any prominent disability like at all. I'm just scared. Tomoe is a character that I'm very excited for, but I'm also very scared for. I really just hope that she is written well and is cool and is not uncomfortable to watch for one reason or another. And now for my last point. This is something that is very personal to me. There is a character in the show that I really want to matter, because this is a character that I literally love. Odille. Odille appears one time at the very beginning of the last episode of season 5. She doesn't matter at all. She doesn't appear even in person. Lila is just watching her talk on her phone. And Odille talks about how it's always been her dream to travel the world and meet every person, but she's never felt like she could. And I feel like that's so relevant to Lila's character and what Lila wants. It's so interesting that they would make this new character for this specific reason and they would give her a name. I need to see more of Odille. I need to see more of Odille now. In season 6, Odille better get akumatized 5 times in 5 different episodes. And I want to see Odille as like a teacher in their school or something. I'm so interested in her. A lot of the beginning of Miraculous Ladybug's first arc had plot lines and akumatizations that set up certain ideas and themes that had to do with Gabriel. And I want to see the same with Odille getting akumatized. I want Odille to be akumatized and for it to be this like subtle metaphor for ideas that have to do with Lila's arc. I need to see it. I need to survive. I need it. And if it doesn't happen, I guess that's okay. But it would be a waste because Odille is kind of my favorite character in the whole show. And that's everything I want in Miraculous Ladybug Season 6 and beyond, at least that I can think of. There's definitely a lot of other like little things that I want, but I could talk about like endless little things. My main hopes are just that the show continues to innovate and move up instead of just focusing on the past. I hope that the show continues to just move forward and move on and do cool new things, because I think that so many cool new things can happen. And I hope that cops don't show up ever again. I hope that Sabrina just shows up in an episode and Adrian is like, I'm sad because my dad died. And Sabrina's like, mine too. And everyone's like, what? Sabrina, your dad died? And she's like, yup. Then it's never mentioned again. And he's never mentioned again and cops are never mentioned again. I really hope that happens. But aside from that, I love Miraculous Ladybug. Love Miraculous Ladybug. I love Miraculous Ladybug, and I'm so excited for Season 6. Let's get this video to 5 likes. Tell me everything that you're excited for and tell me everything on my list that you don't want to see happen. I want to see agreement and disagreement. Let's all have a conversation. Goodbye to everybody.